Okay, so welcome to Sharpman Academy. This is a platform for you to grow and advance your research writing skills. I recommend you subscribe to Sharpman Academy and you share with your friends. Like I've been saying, don't keep it to yourself. Share with your friends. Recommend Sharpman Academy to your friends so that they can also join and then learn more things about research. So today I'm going to discuss cohort study. Now we've discussed cross-sectional study and then case control study. So today we are going to go through cohort study. We want to know what cohort study is about and then understand what goes into cohort study so that when you are applying it in your project work, it will be very easy for you to go about it. So in cohort study, in modern terms, cohort study refers to a group of people with a defined characteristics that are being followed up. So in cohort study, you recruit people with the same characteristics. So if you are looking at drivers, you make sure that all of them are drivers. If you are looking at teachers, you make sure that they all share the same characteristics. Students, smokers, you make sure that they all share the same characteristics. Unlike case control that you pick people with the disease or the people with the outcome and then people without the outcome, which is the control group. Here all of them share the same characteristics. So if you are recruiting people with the disease, all of them are with the disease. People without the disease, all of them are without the disease. So you pick them based on their exposure. So that is what cohort study talks about. And then in cohort study, you can follow two or more groups, multiple groups, then you follow them into the future or you follow them into the past to see what their previous exposure has developed on their lives. And then they are being followed over time. Cohort study, the participants are being followed over time. So it depends on the types of disease that you are looking up to or the condition you are looking up to. If the condition takes a long period of time, like cancer, to develop, it means that you need to follow them for over a long period of time before you can see the outcome. So, or if the condition is also a very short period to develop, then that would depends on the time that you follow your participants. So in cohort study, we have three types of cohort study designs. We have the prospective into the future, and then retrospective to the past, and then ambidirectional. So with the ambidirectional, you are looking into the past and then into the future at the same time. So that is ambidirectional. So this is a pictorial representation of cohort study. So we have the past, present, and then the future. So always the present is the start of the study. So for the past, it means that you are looking into the past for their previous exposures and then the outcome in the present or in the future. So that is what cohort study is about. So, but if you are looking for the ambidirectional, it means that you are looking at the past and then the future at the same time, what their previous exposure has developed or the outcome of their previous exposure, and then the present to be what they've been exposed to, and then their outcome in future. So that is what cohort study is about. So when you look, we have the study population who have been exposed and then who have not been exposed. So among the exposed group, we can have people who develop the event and then people who will not develop the event. And then also the unexposed group, you have the people who will develop the event and then the other people who will not also develop the event. So this is how cohort study is about. Unlike case control study, that we have people with the disease and then people without the disease. Here they all share the same characteristics. So with the types of study that best suit for cohort study, for prospective study, it is able to determine incidence, unlike case control that is not able to predict incidents. So a study on the effect of snuff on health of young people. So among the people who snuff, how many of them are going to develop a certain condition? So the number of people that would develop the outcome will be the incident rate or the incident population. So it is able to predict the incident population. And then with the retrospective aspect of cohort study, the causality, what is the cause? It's able to predict causality, the cause of the event. So a study on lung cancer among smokers. So you recruit smokers, you look past into their previous experience, then among the smokers, how many of them have developed lung cancer? So let's say if you recruited 500 people into your cohort study, and then you are looking into the past 5 years to see among the 500 people, how many of them have developed lung cancer. So when you are able to detect that among them, let's say 50 of them have developed lung cancer, then you will be able to determine that, okay, smoking is one of the cause of lung cancer. And then also with the ambidirectional, you are looking at both prospective and then retrospective. So one of the example that I use here is relationship between prenatal marijuana exposure and then birth outcome. So let's say when a mother was pregnant, the mother smokes. What will be the effect of the smoking on the child birth? So is the child going to develop birth deformities, low birth weight, and all other birth outcomes? So this is one of the examples of ambidirectional. We are looking at the past to see what will eventually happen, because the past, the mother used to smoke when she was pregnant. That is the past. And then now the child has been born. What is going to happen? Is there any birth deformities that is going to arise, or low birth weight, or any birth outcome? Then we look up to, then you see if something of that sort will happen. So with the strength of a cohort study, it is able to establish population-based incidence. So it is able to establish incidence rates, how many people have developed the outcome at this time. So incidence rate is the new cases, that is incidence rate. And then prevalence talks about the new case plus existing case. So that is for cross-sectional study. Prevalence is best for cross-sectional study. Then it is useful to provide evidence that suggests causality. So it is able to tell what is the cause of this condition, what is the cause of this outcome. So it is able to tell the cause of a certain condition, unlike case control. And then also it is able to calculate for the relative risk or the risk ratio. It is able to estimate it. So what is the risk of developing lung cancer among smokers and the non-smokers. So it is able to tell the risk among the two groups. And then it can be also used where randomization is not possible. So the difference between case control and randomization is that in randomization, which is an experimental study, we put the participants on an intervention, and then in case control there is no intervention. Okay. Then also with the limitations, it is often required for large sample size. You need a very large sample size to recruit in order for you to know the cause, because you can't take just few people and then you say that this is the cause. You need a very large sample size, and then it takes a very long time. Let's say you are looking at a real case, which is cancer. Cancer can take about 10 years to develop. So it means that depending on the case that you are looking up to will determine the time that you follow the people, because you need to follow them for a long period of time. Sometimes case control study can take 10 years for you to complete, 5 years, 20 years, depending on the latency of the disease that you are working with. Unlike other studies like cross-sectional and then case control, which you just snapshot, you take your data and you go. But this one, you need to follow them each and every time to see what is happening, because you can't tell that the moment someone starts smoking, they are going to develop a certain condition. You need to follow them for a period of time before you can determine that. And then it is very expensive, because sometimes you need to test the people depending on what you are looking for. You need to run a lot of tests before you can identify your outcome. And then participants may also be lost to follow up, because it is a long period of time. Maybe the person is living, you started your study in China, and then now the person is relocating to India, Canada, or Ethiopia. It means that you are going to lose that participant, and then it is going to affect your study. So loss to follow up is one of the key limitations in case control study. And then also, when working on the retrospective aspect of cohort study, you need to visit an existing data, which is a secondary data. And then if there was a mistake in taking the data, it means that it is going to affect your study. Or maybe the variables that they took, most of them are not captured in your study. What you want to identify, most of the variables are not captured there. That one too is going to affect your study. So when you are working on retrospective, this is one of the limitations that you can face, or challenge that you can face in cohort study. So in some cohort study, you recruit two or more groups, then you follow them for a period of time to see what their exposure will lead to the outcome. So you want to follow them, what they've been exposed, what effect will it have on them. So that is cohort study. So this is where I'll end for today. I'll also take another study design, then I break it down to the barest minimum so that it will become very easy and understandable for you to apply it and use it good in your research writing. Subscribe to Sharpman Academy. This is a platform for you to grow and advance your research writing. Encourage your friends to subscribe. Share it to groups so that they can also subscribe. Share it to your class pages, your family pages. all pages, share it everywhere. Sharpman Academy is there for each and everyone to grow and advance their research writing. Sharpman Academy, see you there.